Hello everyone, welcome back once again in the series of Linux for Hackers. Today we are going to discuss about the file permissions in Linux. This is very important because this is the crucial thing what hackers use to exploit any of the file or they can execute a privilege escalation. So this is like very important to understand that what are these, then only you can understand that how you can execute or change that permissions and you can execute any malicious file as a being a hacker or being a penetration tester. So in this session, I'm going to cover these topics. Let me summarize it quickly so that you can view till end. So very first thing in this session, I'm going to cover the types of user, that how many types of users we are having. Okay, so this is like very simple one. And then we are going to cover the different type of permissions, read, write, and execute, changing the permissions like uh, that how we can use change the permission from 777 to 644. So we'll also explain that what are these basically. Then root execute permission on a new tool, special permission and privilege escalation and hacker. So this could be like your summary that how you can use it, what I was just talking about. So jump to our lab. This is Linux machine I'm accessing remotely. Like this Kali Linux is running in another laptop and I'm accessing it remotely. So this is a user practice what I follow. So if I do ls here, ls like ls hyphen l, okay, then if you observe that what is happening, very first thing, so okay, it's responding now. Let me clear it. So if I execute like ls hyphen l, or just me just choose just to ls. So currently we are having like these many of directories. I don't know they are the directories or the files. So if I want to know that, I will execute ls-l. Whenever I do ls-l, gives me little more detail whatever inside what was inside in the present working directory. So if you want to know that what is my present working directory, you can run the command pwd. So this was like things I have already covered it, but if you don't know, then these are. So if I run ls-l, then you will see that there are like different things available there, right? So the different details are there like drwxr hyphen xr hyphen x. There's something like two. There's some like Kali. Something is this one and something is this one. So very first thing, let's understand that what are these details. So if I talk about the very first detail or the very first character, whatever we are having, just D. This D denotes that this is basically a directory. Okay, and if it is not a directory, we will see something else. So usually for the files we see the hyphen symbol. If there is a hyphen at the starting rather than D, then that's a file. So I will just create a file after detailing about this one. Then we'll see that how the file looks like. Okay, and after that one, you see that they are like different bits. So they are like combination of three, and three. Total are like uh, nine fields here. Very first group, we can say this one. This is about the owner, that who is the owner of that file, like access permissions basically. So it's like having the read access. R means that read access, W means that write access, and X means that it is also having the execute permission. So wherever you see there's in the first combination we are having the root, like read, write, and execute. So wherever you see the R, that's read. Wherever you see W, that's like write. And wherever you see the X, that means execute. So owner of that one is having that access to these everything. But who is the owner? Owner are these ones. So this is the owner and this is the group. That on which group that file or directory belongs to. So this is like group. This belongs to owner. Like very first, this option is for the owner and this is for the group. So this of the files or directory they belong to the owner as a Kali. Means that there's a user, there will be some user named as a Kali, and they are belonging to that one. And this is the group. They will also are having the group as a Kali. Basically, this is root, but it's like name is Kali, so we will talk about the Kali. But usually, if you see others, there will be like root user. So Kali is the root user here, so that's why it's saying as Kali. Another thing is this is the file size. That what is the file size of that one? So if it is a directory, so what is the size of that directory? This is the detail that when it was last modified or it was created. So both the things are visible here. Either it will, if it's no modification, then it will show the last, like whenever it was created. But if it was modified recently, then it will be showing as a last modified date. And then it shows that what's exactly name of that directory or file. If it is a file, it will be showing here. So what I'm going to do, I will just create a very simple file and then let's see what is happening. Okay. So currently this is the case. And if I want to create a file here, then I will just take a random name. Let's suppose I uh, create, let's take the create with the sudo, and then I will go as echo and put inside the characters as hello guys. Okay. And then I'm going to save this file with the name of fresh.txt. So this is the syntax how we create like simple file. Otherwise, we can also use some external editors or cat command. So I'm just creating a file with the name of fresh.txt, and the content of that inside that file will be hello guys. Okay, so if I execute it, it will be creating a new file. So I hit enter, but I think it's little slow, so it will respond very soon. Asking the password, and I give the password, and there's a no error. It means that the file is created. So if I do ls-l once again, you see that it has been created with the name of fresh.txt. Same time, if you observe that rather than the D here, it's the hyphen symbol. So whenever there's a hyphen symbol here on the left, it means that there's a file. Whenever you see this D, it means that there's a directory. So this desktop is a directory, and this fresh.txt is a file because we have the hyphen symbol here. And what are the permissions we are having, right? So this is the uh, file, but the permissions we are having like read permission, write permission, but there's no execute permission of this text.txt. Means that I have created this file, I am the owner, but I don't have permission to execute this file. Execute means that sometimes like this is some code you have written on this file. Okay, so that code I cannot execute on this Linux. So this is the default behavior of the Linux machines, that whenever any file is created, the it doesn't give you a permission to execute it until you are a root user. Okay, so here I am root user. Still, if I want to execute it, I will have to still run it as a root user privileges. I will be using the sudo command. So in fact, I get I create a file, but I get certain less permissions. I do not get the last bit execute permission. So this is default behavior. But if you see the name, that who is the owner, owner is Kali. Okay. And the group name is also Kali. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to change the owner. So owner is Kali currently. I have another user as Anuj already created on this machine. I'm going to change of the owner of this file to Anuj. Okay, so how you will change it? You will use the very well-known command, that is chown, basically the change owner. Okay, so how are we going to use it? Let's see it. So very first thing, I will be running as a sudo. Okay, change owner, and this is syntax, and I will put the username as Anuj here, and then of which file I want to change the owner. So to whom I have to change, I have to use that username, and then I will mention the file name. Okay, and I just hit enter. It's saying that cannot access that 3.60, no such file or directory. Okay, why is that? I just created it, so it should be there. Press.txt, but it's there, right? Anyways, I will try like this. Change owner, Anuj, press.txt. Okay, I have changed it like txt. Fine. Extension is text, so that's the problem it is creating. No worries. But still, I have to run it with the sudo privileges. So I will just move it to the sudo. Okay, remove the t at the end, and because if I don't run with the sudo, I'm know that it will not be permitting me to do that one. So if I do sudo change owner anuj.rest.txt, and now owner of this file has been changed. Let me show you. So this time owner is Anuj. Earlier it was Kali, but now it is Anuj. Okay, so earlier it was like on this here, it was Kali, but now it has been changed to Anuj. That's how we can change the permission. Okay, but still that access permission you don't have like to execute this file irrespective like you are the owner and you have changed the permission. Another thing is like you can like whenever we are having like different type of group, the users of the same group are having the same permission. So here what is happening, they're like different type of users. That let's suppose you are a root user. Root user means that you have all the privileges, you can execute or do anything on your Linux. But it's not like you cannot give everyone that permission. You're a security guy, you want to execute everything, but you don't want anyone to execute anything. Because if like all the users will be executing like everything, like installing and removing, then like your system will be mesh. You can't control your system that who is doing what. Like everybody is just doing whatever they want. So what do? We like do that limited permissions or like less number of root users, but we create some other users. You can see the different type of users other than the root. The root is having like the god, he can do anything whatever he wants, but they're like different types of user and they are having the limited permissions. But what limited permission they are having, that we break it in the different groups. So whenever we create groups, it means that let's suppose we create a security group. Like we are security guys and we create a security group. It could be like a finance team. So we can create a team group for the finance. We can create a group for sales, right? So now what will be happening that all the security person or any file which is assigned to the security group, all the users may have an access to view or execute depending on what permissions we give it. But all the people in the security group will be having the same permission for that one. Finance person cannot execute or even they may not read it, whatever the permissions we do like give them, they may not read it. So now we are segregating, we are providing a granular approach to the different files that how the people will be reading, writing, or executing any of the files based on the groups. Like we are distributing the access rather than that whatever the permission it is. Okay, so like security person will be taking care of security only, finance will be taking care of finance only, sales will be taking care of sales only, while the root user will be able to do anything for all these of them. So this is like God, he can do anything, but here, like your mind your own business, don't interfere with each other. So that's what is having here. Now, what is happening that these permissions, whatever we have just discussed, that we can change to the group. So now, like this person is here, he's having like group, and If you want to change the group, let me create a sample group very first. Okay, so if I go to group sudo, so if I go sudo add group security. Okay, so I think something is missing. Let me. Okay, there was no space. So add group, and then I gave a command as like whatever the name I want to create. So I want to create a security group. Okay, so I gave security. That's fine. So now my security group selecting GID from range 1000 to 5000, adding group security GID. Okay, that's fine. So it has like created the group as a security. Fine. So now we are having the files ls-l, these ones, fresh.txt. This Anuj, let's stress.txt is having the not txt, the text fresh.text. So it is having the honor as a Anuj, but I want to move from the Kali security group, like Kali group to security group. So if I like do same thing, sudo change group, and then I give as a on which group I want to move. So security, and then I will do as a fresh.text, that which file basically I want to move. So fresh.text. Now my file has been moved to the security group. Okay, so I will run the same command ls-l, and you will observe that it has moved from Kali to security. Now all the persons who are belonging to the security group will be having to same group permissions. So this is like group permissions. So now all the persons in the security will be having the read access of this file, because in the group permissions we are having the read only. They cannot like modify or write that file, but execute. They cannot execute the file, but they can. All the persons in the security group can read that file. Okay. So now if I we want to change these values here, then how we do it? So that's I don't want to extend it much this time. Okay, and I will break here and come back in the next session.